So what I've done now is I've completed the lower eyelid on the left side, so it works just like the upper one does and like the one on the right hand side does, and it's just basically the exact opposite of this one. I've also taken the liberty to add a nose control, and this is really straightforward. It's just connected directly up, and it handles the very end of the nose, the tip of the nose, so we can kind of snub the nose at you if we like, or stretch it or compress it if it gets hit, or wobble it sideways, whatever we like. The next thing we need to do is we need to connect up the jaw. Right now the jaw, when it rotates, you'll notice that it's just directly pulling on some of the point helpers that are parented directly to it. And we're not getting any nice fall-offs around the mouth or necessarily in the face at all. You know, some move 100%, other ones are moving 0% with it. So we need to get a nice fall-off between some of the joints and everything to make it feel nice and fluid and smooth. So what we're going to do to get around that is just do a bit of rigging. The other thing we need first is we need a control for the jaw. And since all of the other controls pretty much on the face are handled through positions, what we're going to do is we're going to use a position one as well instead of a rotation control. That'll just keep it you know, somewhat uniform for the animator to work with. So I want to drop control down here, kind of aligned up to the jaw a little bit, and they'll be able to grab and move this to be able to rotate the jaw. It'll just feel a little more natural, so they don't have to suddenly shift a rotation when, you know, 99% of the controls so far have all been based on position. What we're going to do is we're going to take the jawbone that's already zeroed out and just add the zero controllers to it. And this time we can't work on a quaternion rotation because we're connecting up to positions. So we're going to have to use the actual float values. And the Z rotation, which is up and down, is going to get connected to the Y position up and down of the control. I want to say connect. And you can see that it just moves way too fast. The other problem is because I copied this lower control, this point helper is parented up to the jaw itself. So let's actually reparent this up to the top here. I think I missed it. There we go. So that it doesn't have that extra movement, and you can still see that the jawbone moves much, much faster. This is partly due to the fact we deg to rad should be used. Degrees to radians is a conversion. Rotations are handled actually in radians, not in the angles that we're used to, the degrees. So if you connect up to things, sometimes they move way too fast than what you'd actually expect. So what you need to do is you need to put deg to rad in there, and it'll convert it to you know, the known value. So if you're connecting a rotation to a spinner, you'd have to do it. In this case, it doesn't really matter. You know, all we can do is just throw multipliers on it. We're actually setting up you know, the rotation of a job to position. We could call it degrees if we wanted. I'm not sure it's going to make any difference. We just need to set it up so it feels like it's working fairly well. Let's try times 0.1. The animators don't really follow any given value. They're not going to look at a jaw bone and say, I want to rotate it 15 degrees, therefore move this 15 degrees. Animators tend to do things by eye and not by specifics like that. So actually multiplying it by times 0.1 looks like it nails it pretty much right on. Then we need to get side to side. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the y-axis on this, which is up and down. We're going to connect it to the x here. And let's try the same thing, times 0.1. And we may have to invert it if it goes backwards. But it doesn't, so it actually goes the right way. So you can see that it's actually feels pretty good. It almost feels like, again, it's stuck to the chin. And it moves to it, so that control's pretty nice too. It just feels like it's stuck right on there, and so now that handles the jawbone like we'd expect. So now to set it up so that we've got a better rotation on some of these, we've got some nice fall offs. What we can do is really simple. Is we just need to make some point helpers and constrain them between these two objects, basically the object that isn't rotating and the object that is rotating.